Advanced Computer and Network Concepts is a veteran and Black-owned all-service tech company dedicated to fulfilling mission-based contracts and using innovative technology to support the communities where we work and live. Over the past 15 years, we have partnered with top national corporations, federal agencies, and local businesses, consistently exceeding expectations and delivering impeccable service by maintaining supportive professional relationships. We are excited to be on the forefront of utilizing innovative technology to develop new software, mobile applications, and learning opportunities for our employees and community. This Tech Talk is one of several outreach and community initiatives of ACNC. To learn more about our organization, our research programs, or to become a member of the ACNC team, visit our website at acnc.solutions.
I would like to welcome everyone, to those of you who are returning for part two of this dynamic tech talk on technology in the family unit. Thanks for tuning back in. And to those of you who are tuning in for the first time, in a moment, you'll see why we're so excited about tonight's tech talk. ACNC's Chief Financial Officer, Deanne Little, will be leading you through this fun and interactive discussion on how technology can be a powerful force for family unity, education, wealth, health, and creativity. Deanne holds a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting and a Master of Science degree in both accounting and information systems. But more importantly, and a mother with strong family values and a passion for educating and helping others. In this talk, she will draw from her family experiences, and we invite you to do the same. So, without further ado, we would like to introduce some of you and reintroduce others to Miss Deanne Little. Deanne?
And tonight we're going to talk about how to build skills with your family. The easiest way to put that is a lot of times. Tonight we're going to hold on. I'm sorry. Talk about how to build skills with your family. My apologies, doing too much. So a lot of times we are gaining different type of skills through our day-to-day working, household skills, entrepreneurship, different type of things, for which it would be good to be able to share those different things with our family. And many reasons for doing this would be to obviously save money, help them to get educated on certain things and acquire certain skills that will help them in the here and now and or the new in the future. With that being said, additional things that we need to think about when it comes to helping our family with these skills and building skills with them. Now we need to be mindful of the future and where we're going. Much like, so this talk will be talking about that. And it's going to piggyback of a lot of things that we talked about in the first TED Talk, where it was about leading family to technology. So you're going to hear, some repetitive things, but it's going to dive a little bit deeper into some of it, especially with building certain skill sets. And you'll be interested to really know, like, there's certain things we do currently that you could kind of transition into those technical skills a little bit easier if you are able to link it together. And a lot of us don't do that until we get in it. And then we realize, oh, wait a minute, whole time I've been doing this, or a certain other skill helped you to be able to learn that technical skill a little bit faster. With that being said, one of my skills I learned was creating an avatar, and that's what I'm using. So I'm going to switch in just a second so that you all can connect with me and I can show my face. So give me one moment. Can you see me?
We see you.
All right, all right. One thing I want to be also a thing that's very mindful. I like for it to be very interactive. So please, please, please ask questions, ask questions. Let's discuss. Obviously, I don't know everything. So you all will probably give me some insight on some things that will help me as well as my family. So therefore, I would appreciate a lot of feedback. Let's discuss. Let's make this fun. We do have a couple little interactive games per se that I think will be fun. I mean, it might look kiddish, but it's something that you can think about far as an easy thing to use to help build some skills. Um, Hold on, let me share my screen real quick. Let me know if you what you see right now.
I see two children. They kind of look like dolls.
Yes, but that shouldn't be what you see. Now, what you
Now,
should see is my nice little what do you call this? PowerPoint with my nice little AI going, my AI creation.
Oh, yes, looks like a cloud.
okay, I see that now.
Okay. Okay, so some of the main topic that we're going to discuss are unique skill sets that family and friends should acquire to be prepared for the future as the world trends towards increased technology, interconnectedness, and complex challenges. Also, unique, user-friendly, and low-cost skill building tools that will help develop future-ready skills. There will be some subtopics. I know they might just see two, but that's going to build into several other things as well. So let's go ahead and start. So let me ask a question. Based on everyone's, I guess, background, whether it's, you're in the workforce or whether you're a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home dad, whichever one, or whether you're in school, whether it's high school, college. I doubt somebody's in middle school or elementary school on here, but don't want to discriminate. Give me some feedback on what type of skills do you think you should have to be ready for the future that we're trending to, especially where everything is really going to a lot of digital automation and things like that.
Knowing how to use a computer.
Say that one more time.
Knowing how to use a computer.
Yeah, that would be great. I would hope you would know how to use a computer at this point. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I'd say knowing how to use a mobile device because
Mobile
people do so
devices,
much more on
yes.
there. Yeah.
There's a lot of things, a lot of not only in the private sector, at home, a lot of people are using devices. A lot of companies are using devices, mobile devices, not just cell phones, but laptops, what do you call those? Tablets, all those different things. So you have a lot of different things. Now, with that, because you said devices, what type of skills you think you should either have or think about having with that in mind?
Some ver
What were you gonna say?
some
I heard
version
somebody
of
was going to say
typing
something.
skills.
Someone was going to say something.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you. Some version of what skills?
Okay, so
Typing.
with knowing that, hey, a lot of we're trending towards, different technologies, right? And you said different things that they're using are mobile devices, right? That you would need to know how to use. And I was saying, with that, what type of skills do you think you would need to have with that will prepare you with being able to use those things on a regular basis and be able to use it in all areas?
So Vivian just said some type of typing skills.
Exactly. Now, typing is not necessarily what they use now, but yes, in a sense, it is typing because you're going to be using the keyboard a lot. But a lot of different things. Something you need to think about is being able to understand basic digital digital skills, like how to use the internet, how to use
Right.
different social sites, how to use different learning tools that are on the internet, right? Different things like that. So those are things you kind of think about. Now, how this, okay, go ahead, Vicky.
Um, there are also gestures that are standard, so there aren't any help documents for those types of functionalities anymore. Like swipe left means pretty much the same thing in every environment. Swipe right, swipe up, swipe down. There are certain like mobile device gestures that are universal, and so apps don't give you user guides or, you know, how to do this sort of thing. So those are things that, unless you want to have to Google it every time, you're going to have to commit to memory.
Oh, not necessarily. Now, I'm glad you
Okay.
said that. So with that being said, when you think about some of your younger kids or even your older generation and trying to help them to learn those day-to-day functions and understand that common thing that you might think is common, but they don't. And they might look for it, like you said, they just get their phone or something and they might look for a user guide. Well, what's a common learning tool we probably all use, but don't even think of it as a learning tool?
Oh,
YouTube University.
oh.
YouTube University can provide you all those basic functions. You would be surprised at how much you would be able to find from there on just simple things. People, use that where they record themselves and they kind of give you those basic run throughs. And on top of the fact of a lot of folks do what do you call it? Product reviews. And in those product reviews, they give you little tips and things like that on common things to use. So those are good. That's a good common tool, learning tool, which we'll talk a little bit later, that could be used, especially when you're trying to help family members that may not be that savvy. They just aren't used to it, right? So that's something, send them a video. Or if you don't, even if you don't send them a video, you guys might be sitting at home and having Sunday dinner or Wednesday game night, whatever the case may be. And you can then use that time to share and be able to help them get acclimated with those things. Okay. So left my little time. So some skills I do not necessarily, please don't make this law or think it's law, but some things that I find and have, you know, between learning, far as in the workforce, far as business wise, just socializing, and being on social media as well, have found that there are some trends that are happening right now and probably has really, started peaking up within the last 5 years. So there's certain skills that we really need to help our family as a collective to acquire. And surprisingly enough, you probably, after having some discussions tonight, will see how some of those skills we actually have, and kind of utilize them. We just need to dive more into it, just on a day-to-day basis. Of course, you guys probably see this all the time. You hear about it all the time. If you talk to Kunta or you talk to Larry, you definitely hear about this. AI, machine learning. That is definitely a big thing that whole, I would say, I don't want to say genre, but that whole lane is wide open and it affects almost everything. And I do mean almost everything. Another one, cybersecurity. Never in a million years would I have thought I would have been in that lane. But what is interesting enough about it is my auditing background and has led me in that area. And it's crazy on how that really ties in to each other. So that's another thing. And on top of the fact, because it's so, because we're going to, or not even going to, we're in the digital era. That's it. We're not even, it isn't even no more of going, we're here. But because of that and the high importance of information sharing and being secure, securing your devices, just your whatever digital information that's out there, both through government, that is high on their priority list, and the private sector, the commercial sector is high on their list. Like it's even in your house, it should be high. If it's not, this is the key time to share with your family the importance of it, right? The importance of securing your phone, the importance of securing your iPad, the importance of securing whatever other type of devices that you may use, even down to your smart TVs, right? So these are different things. This lane obviously spreads around a wide range, and deals with your life day to day. And this is the skills under that realm that would be helpful for your family, all of them. Like it's not exempt from anybody. So whether they want to go into workforce, whether they want to start their own business, or whether you're talking about, like I said, a stay-at-home mom, a stay-at-home dad, a kid in college, or whatever the case may be, those things are serious. And so having some of these skills, to me, are vital. Um, data literacy, slash digital literacy, basically understanding data, being able to analyze data. That's a lot. And those type of skills also coincide with cybersecurity, AI, those things. Now, here's something I haven't found many people talk about anymore. That's soft skills and how that ties into technology. For instance, please give me, even though I know you all see it up there, but give me something different. What are some soft skills you think will be helpful, to have or to capitalize on? Because you might already have them, you just need to improve them, to capitalize on them in this techie era.
Just to say something real quick, Deanne.
Yes.
Please stop sharing. I will handle your PowerPoint presentation.
Oh, okay. I'll give on control. There you go, buddy. Did you take it?
Yes, I did. Give it one moment to show up on the screen for the rest of you all.
All right.
Deanne,
Yes.
can you define soft skills, please?
What's the easy way to define that? Soft skills, soft skills are things that necessarily aren't physically taught per se. They're more of a thing like, for instance, a soft skill would be attention to detail. Soft skill would be adaptability. I'm trying to think of a better way of saying, I don't want to say personality, but it isn't necessarily that type of thing. Someone said, okay. Miss Vivian, I'll get to you 1 second. Another soft skill would be timeliness. We ain't got there, Larry. Excuse me. Hold on 1 second.
Say soft skills are non-technical skills that describe how you interact with others. So being polite, not necessarily something that you could take a course in, but soft skills would be like teamwork, problem solving, how well you communicate, critical thinking, interpersonal skills.
One last thing to ask for Deanne, the speaker. Are you able to control what I am currently sharing within? There you go. Okay, great.
So I was gonna say like being a people person, is that kind of like a soft skill type of thing?
I definitely think that is a soft skill, like interpersonal skills.
Gotcha. Charisma.
Deanne, you're muted.
Yes, charisma.
Okay, now I have the right one. I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Oh, I
Can you
was
hear me?
saying like being. Oh wait, were you talking to me?
Yes.
Oh, like being a people person and having like charisma. That's like a soft skills.
People person, correct. Something being a team player, those type of things. So those are, soft skills most of us have in some way, form, or fashion. But how do you think those would tie into helping your family acquire technical skills and how they help with improving your technical skills?
It looks like Vivian has her hand raised.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Miss Vivian.
Oh, okay. I had also written it in the chat. When you were talking about soft skills, I was thinking in terms of um, those things that you learn or do that involve some form of mental processing. Now, you listed several, like, well, maybe not. What I was thinking was how to, it's, I think that working with technology, especially when you're transmitting messages, it's like taking a shorthand course. I never had a shorthand course, but there is a great deal of information, or there is information that's packed together. And when you use, for example, text messages, I don't know the lingo, but there are like IDK or I declare, stuff like that. I don't know that. Is that an example of soft skill?
Far as you're talking about the lingo? I,
Yeah, I'm thinking in general, things that involve some sort of mental processing, not just manual dexterity,
hmm.
or as opposed to manual dexterity.
So I think she
This,
means with regards to the acronyms, you know how they have those posts that say, "Oh, if you can read this, you know that you were raised by a black mom," or something like that. And it's a bunch of letters, and it's not an acronym that everyone knows. It's just you can tell by looking at it what it's supposed to say. So it's
oh,
like interpreting without it being, a standard IDK or LOL. But you can still figure out what this string of seemingly random characters means, um, just by relating it to stuff.
to relating it to yourself. To me, I would look at that as, I wouldn't say that particular thing as far as the acronym is that soft skill. I would think for me, I would look at it as the relatability. So when you see those things posted, the relatability to me, being able to relate to some of these things, to me, that's a soft skill. Correct me. I mean, if others don't feel and they have, other ways of tying that in, but that's where I would be thinking that as, because those those posts seem to, some of them I can actually pretty much get real fast without even seeing all the letters, just because I can relate, and once they frame it in a certain way, I pick it up. So that's what I'm saying. I think that relatability would be a soft skill, or even you kind of could say attention to detail, if you're paying attention to the letters, and you can look at them pretty fast and process in your head what they potentially could stand for, based on things been exposed to, experience you have. So that could be another one. um Creativity is another one, because whoever thought of that definitely used their creativity soft skill. um what do you guys think?
I say yes.
Okay.
Anything really, especially nowadays, anything that is any way in remote relation to communication and people, it's probably one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most important soft skills today, especially due to with the amount of conversational AI that is now popping up.
Hmm.
And with more conversation, with more um a human touch to all those things, a lot of the technology that we'll see in the current in the upcoming future will have a lot of personality done to them in terms of your personality into your tech.
So yes, and to piggyback off of that, I agree with you, Larry. Something I thought about was, something I'm learning is more of this AI foolery. I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I express I don't like it. But guess what? I know that we're inevitable. It's here to stay. It's not going nowhere. So I gotta adjust, right? With that adjustment, I'm learning and have been learning, to use it more, or implement it more in some of my day-to-day activities and things like that. So what are some ways you think you can help your family utilize their soft skills into this trend with, acquiring some of these technical skills we've already talked about briefly?
Can you repeat that in a shorter form?
Oh, now you okay. So, a shorter form. Okay, how do you think you can use, Larry, your people skills, right? Your
Mhm.
people skills to help your family acquire some of your technical skills?
Well, for me personally, and let me just go ahead for anyone who else wants to answer this while I talk, you can go ahead and jump into the Q&A section where it is posted. For me personally, um, anything that involves with teaching somebody something overall, I've realized I am not the best at it. And one of the reasons because of that is because I have a hard time relating online terminology with someone who's just trying to get a basic understanding of maybe their phone or their Facebook settings or so on and so forth.
Okay.
Now, one of the ways that am able to help them is by giving them as much information as I can. But then I run into the issue of information overload.
Correct. So here's something you could think about. Yes, I learned a lot of my technical skills. No, I'm sorry. I learned some of my technical skills crash course way. And I'm gonna tell you what the crash course way. I think everybody on here, almost everybody, if they don't, it's okay too, knows my husband. So he gave me a crash course because if you know him and you get to talking to him about computers, technology, electronics, anything of the sort, he's not going to talk to you like you're a 2-year-old. He talks to you like you're him. So therefore, with that being said, we would have conversations and he would tell me about whatever this latest and greatest is, right? And it may be talking about and this is well before I even knew what artificial intelligence, all that, you watch it on TV, but it's something totally different. Blockchaining and all that, right? And he's talking about how you use this type of code and this, that, and that, yeah, right? So I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah, you're right. That'd be good. Yep, I can learn that. Gave me a whole bunch of tutorials, all that stuff. And you know what I did? I used my soft skills because he used what he had to help me, which I didn't think at the time it was helpful because I didn't understand. So therefore, I took that on my own time and I utilized my soft skills of adaptability, attention to detail, research. Now I go look into it. Now I'm looking for different things for me to be able to get understanding that is, and I'm not going to say dumbed down, but that is kid friendly understanding for me to be able to digest. It took a long time, but I'm better at understanding and grasping everything, not everything, but almost everything. But what also helped me is also being in the field, working in that field. So that helped as well to be able to tie things in. And for me, I'm a hands-on. So being able to utilize those different skills that I acquired and being able to apply them. So, with that being said, some things you can think about, for instance, like Larry said, it becomes a thing of he provides his family overload rather than do that, as far as just giving them sites or giving them documents for them to look at, or even tutorials on YouTube. Because the tutorials you may give them may be techie, again, using all that language that they may not, grasp at the time. So, a thing you could do is games. Larry, you have your mom, you got your dad, your brothers or your little cousins and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
When y'all are at family reunions, cookouts, and things like that, have a game.
Horseshoe.
No, I am talking about no, sir. I am talking about some type of, for instance, they got cybersecurity games. We're about to do one shortly. You can do that fun interactive games, right? You can buy some basic what do you call them? Uh, uh, like you can buy certain basic not development but website development or website design games online. I have to get some names. I have to get some names and share them later.
Like
But
Scratch?
Say again.
Like Scratch? Or is that what you, those kind of
Scratch is that Scratch that do games? So yeah,
oh,
things like Scratch. Yes, that's something that you could use too. Something like that, and make it fun. Make it something where it's not difficult to do while you're spending time with them, and they're not really even thinking of it in that sense. But they're still gaining some type of skill, at least exposure to it, for which they'll probably follow up with, right? And those type of things are helpful. Also, seeing that some of you guys, when it comes to, I think some of the older folks, like my mother, she's not older, but she's older than me. Um, they may not be into some of the more interactive games we are into, but there are several sites out there for which you can use interactive puzzle tools. I mean, word search and puzzles. And those things for folks that are at home that, aren't really into, they might not be into social media or things like that, or they're not that tech savvy, but a entryway to help them were to do those word puzzles, those word search puzzles, because what then happens then is it might have certain type of descriptions of things, right? And I think they give clues, and then you got to figure out what the words are and things like that. So those are entryways to help them to start acquiring certain skills, at least with them having the knowledge and be able to understand some of the terminology when you're talking with them. Or even if you send them some type of digital tutorial, now things may be tying in, because a lot of folks, if they're like, my mother and some of my aunts, they do word puzzles and word searches a lot. So giving them those type of things probably will be helpful for. So here goes, here we go. I'm gonna hold on one second. Here's an example. So here's an example. Nice little website. Anyone can go
Yeah,
to it. Yes.
you are currently not sharing your screen.
Oh, shucks and sugar. Can you see now?
No,
yes, I can see your screen.
I
How
don't see you sharing anything.
It might take a little bit.
I can see the screen.
You
I can.
can?
Hmm.
Okay. So here's a nice little simple game, right? You can share this with maybe some of your loved ones. And this is more so about cybersecurity, that type of thing. Everybody, obviously, at this point in life needs to learn about this stuff and understand it. I think majority of people are on social media in some form of fashion. So helping folks understand the tech, the terminology, as well as acquiring some of the actual physical skills that they'll need to use, would be great. So as you can see, let's see what, let's see how fast I can find at least 5 of these. I'm going to use my attention to detail. I'm going to use my adaptability. Um, let's see, what can I find? What can I find? Anybody have a timer?
I see vulnerability.
Oh, where you see vulnerability at?
If line column 7.
Column 7.
Should
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. All right. And look at that. A flaw of weakness in a computer system that could be exploited to violate the system security. Okay, so if anybody has participated and or had their kids participate in our previous, I was about to say shark bite, but that is not what it is. What is it called?
Fight event.
There you go. Fight event. This is something that was taught with and shared with the young folks that participated in that event that we did. It was a Saturday, I think last year sometime. I know we're supposed to be doing it again, but it was a very nice event. If you go on our website, you can see some of the pictures and things like that of the different things that they were doing and looking at how interactive and how the kids really, participated and had fun. Anyway, with that being said, it went over some form of cybersecurity with that. And we use that in a way to kind of show kids how, basic stuff like them being on Facebook or again on their tablets, and how this could affect them. With them maybe clicking on some type of link or pop-up message that may come up, and then that whatever virus may have been within that link ends up causing whatever device they're using to be exposed or even shut down for that matter, especially if it doesn't have the proper security measures in place. So let's look for two more words. Let's see. Ooh, phishing. Look at that. Ties into what I just said. Fraudulent email, perpetually. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. From a reputable company attempting to get personal information. Again, a way for you to tie this type of thing in with your family to help them to understand the importance, and when it comes to them starting to gain certain skills in this arena, is tying your day-to-day activities. Give them examples of how it affects them. Give them examples of why it's important for them to even learn and be aware of it. Because although you might have folks that aren't interested in going in this direction far as in the workforce or business wise, they still need to have that understanding, that skill set just for the day to day, especially with us being in this very heavy techie, state. Ransomware. All right. Okay. That's enough of that. We're gonna go back to my okay. Now, are there any other questions or things you all can think of when it comes to certain type of
I did that.
tools, not tools, certain type of skills that would be helpful for to help our family members acquire and or us ourselves. So we already know AI, machine learning. We already know cybersecurity. What are some other type of skills you think might be helpful?
Two things.
Yep.
One, give the video a second to fully load up. This is normal. Two, uh, I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, keep saying this, but AI, people need to learn how to use AI, and the reason why I say that is because the idea that AI is going to be the thing that takes people's job isn't what's actually going to happen. What's going to happen is that people who know how to use AI are going to end up taking your jobs. People who probably were super into their jobs, but probably wasn't the most productive person or wasn't the most technical person, now have a big leg up to get onto the same playing field as those individuals that are, considered, higher than them.
That is very, very, very true. Very, very true. It is going to be a point of where it's not necessarily the actual technology that removes your job. It's your unwillingness to adjust and adapt, and figure out how to tie your current abilities and skills into and transfer those things into some form of technical skill that will be beneficial, and help you with understanding, learning, and fitting in that AI or that machine learning realm. Because it's not just developing it or things like that. There's all types of different other areas for which you will be able to utilize your skills and fit in that lane. If you are a
Yeah.
digital content, go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, yeah, no, I was gonna say, just to kind of piggyback off of that with the AI, it is, I look at it more like a tool, and then something that can make it seem kind of less, I guess, daunting and large is that there's so many different types of AI. The things that you're already interested in, you can
Thank you.
find something AI related to help with that.
Mhm.
Like, I know Chat GPT, like, it's like, oh, this can write for me, but like they have other tools, like if you're a poet or something like that, that kind of help you to give you like different ideas that aren't necessarily going to write it for you or do it for you, but kind of like a magical thesaurus, if you will. Like, so like it can almost like already read your brain, those kind of things, or like um if you like cooking, you know what I mean? Like you can find something to do with like AI that has to do with like cooking. So it's not just super technical, because I know like a lot of it can feel like it's just like more and more technology, but just relating it to, like your everyday stuff, like you can really get into the AI in that way as well.
Um, to also add on to one more thing that Ryan just said, um, and also to relate back to the soft skills that you were talking about, funny enough, Chat GPT was just given a soft skill earlier this morning. Yeah, it's called Chat GPT. As you all know, it used to be called 4.0, and now it's 4.01. And this allows the AI, and it's probably going to be adopted by other AIs, allows the AI to actually think before it gives you an answer. So it would think, it would go back over itself, it would review what it said, and it would make correction if it was said something wrong initially, and then it will give you the output.
Now you're saying it'll do that automatically or based off of your interaction with it?
It'll do it automatically now.
Oh wow. Okay, that should be interesting. That should be interesting. Okay, what are you guys seeing on my screen?
We got a PowerPoint up.
Smart home.
Nah, I wanted to show. Larry, yours is so delayed.
It
So
says in video AI.
yes.
Yeah, I see a
So
video.
there we go. I'm gonna play. Like I told you guys, I am not a fan of this AI situation, but for the purpose of trying to learn how to um, not only teach or make kind of fun or interesting or show how it can tie in and help not only my family, kids, different things like that, play with these little videos or these little tools, and really you speak into them and or type and have it create, well, based on what Larry said. Now once create, you give them the information and the details, it can kind of correct itself. I don't know how it will, but we'll see come shortly. So for this one, I basically told it to create a video that talks about family and technology, right? And hopefully you all should be able to hear this. But I'm gonna play and you will see what it came up with.
In the heart of a modern home, technology brings a family closer. Dad adjusts the perfect temperature with just a tap. Mom fills the home with music, using just her voice. While their son codes a new AI game, creating the future right from the living room. And the youngest, learning and laughing with her new robot friend, In this home, the future is now, and it's filled with joy.
Did y'all see and hear that?
Yes.
Okay, great. What are your thoughts?
I think that it's incredibly possible. As one of the examples I just saw today, they simply said to create a snake game within HTML and using HTML and CSS and JavaScript. And it was able to simply make a very basic, rudimentary version of a snake game. And I only see things getting bigger from there. That was it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I'm saying good. So yes, well, my point to that is this is a way to kind of use to show your family, although they might not be, they might a simplified way of showing them how it could be helpful, how you can use it. I think a lot of folks have gotten to the point where they utilize Instagram and different things like that, trending into, monetizing that stuff where they record their animals or record their kids or whatever the case may be, and families are starting to monetize it. So one of the things you can share with your family members is, how simple it could be to create some of these quick little clips, and things like that you would need to promote when you're utilizing, YouTube or utilizing TikTok and all that different stuff. And like that video, I gave them the description, and it's helpful as if you're as detailed as possible. And it took maybe less than a minute for it to generate it. And then once I get a little bit better with understand with what do you call it? Editing. Once I get better with that and understanding that and acquiring that skill, I'll be able to tweak it better and make more of an efficient video that could be used. But while doing that, a good thing for me would be to share that with the family, show them, that type of thing, let them test it out and stuff like that so that they can feel comfortable with it as well. All right. So with that being said, what are some tools outside of YouTube that you guys can suggest to everyone, our audience that we have, that will be helpful for our families to use to start acquiring and learning some of these, not only soft skills, but technical skills?
So
Now, sorry.
There's a program that a website that I've used called Skillshare.
That's on my list. Yes.
Yes, I like Skillshare. It goes through class by class. So unlike YouTube, Skillshare has actual class setup where there's a syllabus and a teacher who gives bite-sized lessons, and you actually have homework where you can do projects and turn them in and get feedback. And I like that. If there's something more intricate that I'm trying to learn how to do, it breaks it down into bite-sized steps, and there's interaction, versus with YouTube where you're just watching a video and kind of self-learning.
So yes, skill, that one is a good one. And another one is I was trying to get to it. Can y'all see my screen? Okay. Coursera. We already said Coursera. That's what it is. Yes, that one.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Udemy. That's not. Well, I use that one.
I like Udemy.
We already said that one. LinkedIn for some of us professional folks. And the LinkedIn Learning one, if I'm not mistaken, that is leaning towards a lot of public speaking, not so much technical. I think it does allow for that, but like public speaking type things, project management, it's leaned towards a lot of your soft skills per se. And I don't think you get any certs with that. But it's still something that you could use that would be very, very helpful. I'm trying to think what else is another tool that could be used. I know you can go to AWS. They have some free tutorials and things like that, as far as for you to you learn AWS. So that's a place you can go. I think there's a couple of other ones that you can go to that would be good. What is it for kids? I think it's Khan Academy, I think is the one. And
Yes.
Dojo. I think a lot of them in schools that I remember for my daughter, a lot of those she used Dojo. That's another one. So there's a lot of different things that's out there. You can spend anywhere from free 99, which not necessarily free, but almost free, maybe $5, all the way up to thousands of dollars. It's just depending on what you're doing. One thing I know I do when it comes to with my family, even with friends, anything that I have or I, acquire, I share. Whether it's my Udemy tutorials, I share my YouTube playlists when it comes to my YouTube trainings. I did Security Plus and I paid for the training on Udemy and, show, folks that to help them. Any type of, materials I might acquire, whether free or bought, either or. Audiobooks, those some other things, share those out. Come to a point of where we are sharing as much information as possible with our family and making it cost effective. And those are a lot of things that I think about because, yeah, I'm not rich or anything like that. Because if I was, then I'll be able to train and get everybody trained and it'd be wonderful and everybody be prepared. Well, that's not reality. Not a millionaire yet, but on the way. So, in the meantime, got to think outside of the box, be creative, what is it called? Innovative, right? And think
That's
of
what Apple
different
says.
ways. Say that again.
That's what Apple says.
Yeah. And think of ways to help your family to build. Getting little interactive tools you can find on Amazon. You can find, virtually anywhere. That was the other thing. I remember Kunta got the kids when they was a little bit younger, not too much younger, Raspberry Pi, for them to learn how to do it's like a little mini computer thing like that you can program and stuff. So, different things that may not cost too much, to share those out with your family and help them to learn and get adjusted. And not only that, help them relate it and tie it into their day to day as well. Even do something as getting a family, because a lot of us do have, maybe shared accounts and going like that, and share savings accounts where we put in a pot of money. Those type of things would be great because now if you all come and y'all share into this pot of money, right? And you use that as your subscription fund, right? Or your learning fund or whatever you want to call it. And if everybody is pitching into that, and you can now pay for these different tools, games, or trainings or whatever may be for everyone to be able to benefit in some way, form, or fashion. Of course, what would be very helpful and be mindful is with doing this, with talking to your family and sharing things with them, we don't want to overload them. We don't want to make it seem like we're better than them, higher than them, smarter than them, but be mindful to try and tie in as much as possible how easy it could be and an easier route for them to go in order for them to acquire some of these necessary skills. With that being said, I'm gonna show one more thing that I like. I created a little mind thing. Those are just, this is where I create a little AI picture. But those links are just some links I can share out for folks that may want to, share with their family, their kids, whatever, to use far as for little gaming activities. But with that, that's pretty much my spew on things. Unless anybody have anything else or any other suggestions, that is all for me.
I think you gave us some really good insights, with especially with the games as a good way to introduce new technology and terms and skills to family. That's not something I would have thought of or heard before. So that was really good. And I definitely am a fan of the different learning platforms. So,
To add to what Wendy just said, add to what you said before, Khan Academy has actually, I can't remember who they partnered with, it's probably Microsoft, but Khan Academy actually now have AI tools, and they also have allowed them tools to be used by teachers, I believe, for free during this first year. So
Oh,
teachers can
really?
now use AI to plan their lesson plans, and if their school
Mm-hmm.
uses Khan Academy, more integration there.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of companies are really pushing for this and they're implementing it in different ways just for, to help with productivity and try to make things easier. But here's one thing I will say. You might think AI is easy and is the chat GPT or whatever the variations of it are easy. You still got to know and understand what it is that you're talking about or what it is that you're trying to learn or acquire. It's not a good cheat code because it will play you. And if you don't pay attention to detail or have an understanding of what you're putting in or using it for, when it splurt out whatever it does, and you don't relook, check, and make sure it's correct, you could potentially be sharing out something that's false information or like say they might use it for a lesson plan, right? And they don't, go in and double check and make sure that the information, the content, the links, the references, and all that is correct.
Hmm.
They may be sharing out fraudulent information or confusing because it's, all jumbled. It may not really fall in line. Or better yet, for those that use it for those content creators that use it for like their marketing and things like that, and they create different images and videos. If you don't pay attention, you might share out this wonderful little picture that you think is great, and you make it big, and all of a sudden it might have developed this face that got three eyes, and the hand might got a hand chopped off and blurry and something like that. Like, yeah, you
That
got to
sounds
pay
about
attention.
right.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta, or you can use it to do calculations. You might use it to do budget calculation, right? And if you, depending on the information you give, if you're not giving it the right information, because you got to
You,
provide
you
certain
about to owe some
details,
money.
yeah, or it's pulling different calculations and numbers and creating you this nice little spreadsheet that
There's
really isn't
none of the data
correct.
you wanted.
Yeah. So those are things you still got to think about, even with utilizing. It's a helpful thing, and I don't like it, but yes, it is helpful, and it's where we're at.
I said,
Vicky.
It's just a funny story. Do not use AI to generate your resume. I interviewed I interviewed a lady one time who clearly used AI to generate her resume. And it was very apparent early in the interview. Now, while it was hilarious for me, it did not work out well for her. And employers do share information. So if you apply to certain kinds of jobs, especially if those are jobs in a small community like the intelligence community where ACNC has most of its contracts, companies share information. And so you may send this jazzed up AI generated resume that you never read
Right.
to one company, and now 10 companies have it and you're flagged. So don't use it for a resume, but if you do, please at least read it.
Right. Absolutely. Please do. Please
Something
do.
to add